Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, I will show you 50 words that you are probably pronouncing incorrectly right now. And I'll also teach you how to say them correctly. Let's start with this word. How do you say it? Well, we say pronounce, pronounced, and pronouncing, but pronunciation. There's no noun in this word. It's pronunciation. Word number 2 is says. This word is commonly mispronounced by people learning English as says. But remember, I say, you say, but he or she says. Number 3 is etc. A very common incorrect pronunciation is to say etc. instead of et. Don't say that. And also remember that the stress is on se. So the word is etc. You will also hear etc. That is less common, but it's okay too. Next up is often. Some pronounce this as often. Now, strictly speaking, often is not wrong, but the more common pronunciation is with the T silent. So I recommend that you always say often. One word that's often mispronounced by learners of English is women. This is, of course, because of the English language's crazy spelling system. But remember that we say woman for one woman and women for the plural. Women. Word number 6 is police. This isn't police or polis. It's pa and lis with the stress on lis. So police. The next word is vehicle. It's often pronounced wrongly as vehicle, but the E is a long vowel and the H is silent, so vehicle. Number 8 is this word. How would you say it? The correct pronunciation is genre. Pay attention to the first sound. It's like sh, but you have to put your voice into it. Genre, genre. Next up is actually what you're watching right now, video. The important thing is that both the I and the E are pronounced as short I sounds. It's not video, it's video. If you watch a video on YouTube or Facebook, you might leave a comment. I have heard many speakers say comment. Now, whether you use this word as a noun or as a verb, the first syllable is always com. So it's never a comment, it's a comment. Word number 11 is interesting. This is mispronounced sometimes as interesting, but there are only 3 syllables, sting, and the stress is on in, so the word is interesting. Number 12 is hotel. There are 2 syllables, ho and tell, like the English word tell as in tell me. The stress is on the second syllable, so hotel. A related word is suite. This means a set of connected rooms in a hotel, and this is wrongly pronounced by many people as suit. But it's sweet, like when you eat a piece of candy, sweet. And while we're on the topic of suites and hotels, I cannot leave out this word, restaurant. It gives a lot of English learners trouble. But don't let the fancy spelling confuse you. The second syllable is just ta, and the third is ront, so restaurant. In British English, you might hear just 2 syllables, restaurant. That is also correct. After you eat at a restaurant, you have to pay the bill. But you might get a discount on your bill if you have one of these, a coupon. A common incorrect pronunciation is coupon, but the second syllable should be pawn, so coupon. Here's word number 16. How would you say it? The proper pronunciation is not break fast, it's breakfast. Break with a short eh sound and fast with an sound, so breakfast. You know what I had for breakfast today? I had this, pizza. Really, I did. It's not a pizza and it's not a pizza. There's no z sound in this word. It's pizza, pizza. Another food word that's mispronounced a lot is vegetable. It's not vegetable. If you say it correctly, there are only 3 syllables. Vegetable, vegetable. Let's talk about a couple of vegetables now. This is a cucumber. It's not a cucumber. Think of it like saying the letter Q and then cumber like number. So cucumber. This vegetable is called lettuce. I know the spelling looks like it's lettuce, but it's not. It's lettuce. And since we're talking about food, here's a food that just about everybody loves. Chocolate. When you ask for this at the store, make sure that there are only 2 syllables. Choc and let. Chocolate. And remember, there's no late in chocolate. Speaking of chocolate, how would you say this word? This is dessert. Notice that the first syllable is de and the second starts with a z sound. We stress the second syllable, dessert. This word refers to something sweet that's eaten at the end of a meal, and it should not be confused with dessert. Here, the stress is on the first syllable, which is de, desert. Now, I said that desserts are sweet. But what about this taste? It's pronounced sour. Some people say sour. That is a mispronunciation. The only correct way to say this word is sour. Many words in the English language have silent letters, that is, letters that we don't pronounce. As in word number 24, receipt. The P is silent. When you purchase something or you pay a bill, you get a receipt. Now, if you don't pay your bills, you might find yourself in debt. The B is silent in this word, so debt. If a debt is related to your house, it might be a mortgage. This word means a loan that a bank gives you to buy a house. So which letter is silent here? It's the T. The first syllable is more and the second is gidge, so mortgage. Number 27 is this word. How would you say it? It's subtle. The B is silent. Subtle means something that is difficult to notice or something that isn't obvious. And once again, the word is pronounced subtle. Another popular word with a silent letter is singer. The G is silent. Now, we say finger, we say the G. Younger, again with the G, but singer, no G. And what would you call someone who fixes taps and pipes at your house? You call him a plumber, not a plumber. The B is silent, so plumber. In fact, in many words, when you have the letter combination MB, the B is silent. If I had a ladder in front of me now, I could climb the ladder, not climb. A quick note, in the pronunciation symbols that you see on the screen, the AI is an I sound, not an A sound. So the word is climb. By the way, what's this? This is my thumb. It's not my thumb. It's pronounced thumb. And what about this? This is a comb. Not a comb, a comb. A similar sounding word is tomb. It's often wrongly pronounced as tomb, but the B is silent and the O is pronounced with an oo sound. So tomb. A tomb is a place like the Taj Mahal where a person, usually an important person, is buried. We say bury. Now, when I first heard this as a kid, I was really surprised because I used to say bury. I mean, it looks like that, right? But this word sounds just like the berry in strawberry. So once again, bury. But back to silent letters, how do you say this day of the week? It's Wednesday. The D is silent. Sometimes it's pronounced as Wednesday, but the proper way to say it is Wednesday. What about this word? sword. Many people say sword, but that is totally wrong. It's just sword. And here's one last word with silent letters. Clothes. But what's silent here? Well, first of all, this word is not cloths. When we say clothes, the TH in the middle can often be silent. Clothes. But it's not wrong if you say these letters with a the sound. Clothes. That's also correct. In some words, people think a letter is silent, but it's not. For example, look at this word. What is it? It's Arctic. This is the name for the region at the North Pole of the Earth. It's mispronounced by many as Arctic, but it's actually Arctic. The C in the middle is not silent. Similarly, Antarctic and Antarctica. That's the name of the region at the South Pole. Sometimes people also mistakenly insert letters or sounds that are not there, like in the word mischievous. This is not mischievous. There is no I after the V. The last syllable is just thus, so mischievous. And then there are words that have hidden sounds that we don't recognize, like the word tuition. It's tuition in American English and tuition in British English. So what's the hidden sound here? Well, the first syllable is easy. Tu, American, or tu, British. But after that, it's not ishin, it's wishin. Tuition. You have to put the w sound there. So, tuition. Word number 41 is this word. How do you say it? If you said zoology, it's actually wrong. That is a very common mispronunciation. This is actually zoology. Zo and ology. Zoology. Number 42 is develop. This is pronounced wrongly by many learners of English as develop. But the first syllable is actually de, and the stress is on the second syllable, so develop. Our next word is photography. We say photograph, but photography. So the first syllable becomes ph, and the stress goes to the second syllable, photography. So photography. In the same way, photographer. Word number 44 is jewelry. It's spelled differently in American and British English, but it's pronounced the same. Jewelry. Jewelry. It's not jewelry and it's not jewelry. It's jewelry. Up next is the word quote. This is not pronounced the same as coat. The correct way to say it is with a qu sound at the beginning. Quote. Similarly, we have quotation and quotation marks. Another punctuation term that many people get wrong is parentheses. This is the proper name for the round brackets that we use in writing. If you talk about just one bracket, you say parenthesis. The stress is on ren. If you're talking about both, the plural is parentheses. The last syllable becomes C's. Parentheses. Word number 47 is this word. It's not so much that it's mispronounced, it's just that it's said differently in the UK and in the US. In American English, this is schedule. The first syllable is ske and the second is jewel, schedule. In British English, it can be both schedule or schedule. So you can choose the pronunciation that's right for you. Number 48 is the word elite. Actually, there are two correct pronunciations, elite and elite. Both are okay, but just don't say elite. There's no light in elite. Now, if you keep practicing your pronunciation and avoid the mistakes that I've shared with you in this lesson, you might just become English pronunciation elite one day. In fact, you might even become the epitome of good pronunciation. This word means a perfect example of something, And the perfect pronunciation of that is epitome. It's not epitome. Once again, epitome. Of course, once you have become the epitome of good pronunciation, don't go around correcting everybody for every single pronunciation mistake that they make. Because that way, instead of becoming famous, you might just become infamous. This word is the opposite of famous, and it means famous for something bad. But it's not pronounced infamous, it's pronounced infamous. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember to subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions at all, you can always ask me in the comment section below and I will talk to you there. Happy learning, and I'll see you in another lesson soon. Hi, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to teach you one simple trick that you can use to become a fluent English speaker by spending just 10 minutes a day. The best part about this is that you don't need a partner. You can do this by yourself. This is a technique that has worked for many of my students. And if you do what I tell you in this video, I guarantee that you will become more fluent in English. So what is this trick? Well, it's a technique known as jam. No, not that kind of jam. This is actually a little fluency game based on a show that airs on BBC Radio. The reason it's called jam is because it's short for just a minute. This game has 3 stages, so here's how you play it. You're going to talk about a topic for 1 minute. That is, you're going to give a speech without any preparation. So you just pick a topic. You can either take general topics like sports, hobbies, friends, books, etc. Or you can choose a question. For example, what is your favorite mode of transport? And once you have a topic, you speak. Now, when you do, there are some rules. The first rule is that you cannot stop speaking. You must talk for the full minute. If you have to pause to catch your breath, it's okay, but you cannot pause for more than 3 seconds. Even if you say nonsense or you say something unrelated to the topic, it doesn't matter. You're just going to keep talking. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you cannot repeat the same ideas. That means you can't just say the same things over and over and over again. This isn't pronunciation practice, it's fluency development. So no repetition of the same ideas. And rule number 3 is no writing. You cannot make any notes while you are speaking. You must only concentrate on speaking. These are just the 3 rules. So to begin, you need a timer. This can be on your smartphone, for example. You start stage 1 by starting the timer and you speak until the 1 minute is reached. I'm going to give you an example of how to do this. I'm going to take this question, what is your favorite mode of transport? And I'm going to speak for a minute on this topic. Now, I haven't done any preparation, so let's see how I do. Okay, so what's my favorite mode of transport? I would have to say that it's the train. That's because actually you get to see a lot of nice scenery, beautiful landscapes and things like that. And train journeys generally tend to be longer than other types of, or rather other modes of transport. You can see that I'm really struggling for ideas, but I can't stop. I have to keep going. So I'm saying whatever comes to mind. That's no problem. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah, train journeys, because they're longer, they're more relaxing. And one last thing I want to mention is that I've had the opportunity to meet interesting people and make friends on many train journeys. As a kid, I used to ride the train a lot with my family. We used to go to a lot of places by train, and it's actually something that I really enjoyed. Phew, that was hard, but that's okay. That's the whole point of this exercise. That was stage 1. Now we're going to move on to stage 2. Here's where we're really going to start building our fluency. The first part of stage 2 is making notes. So you can use a paper and pen now. And you're going to think back to the speech that you just gave and collect ideas that you came up with. In my speech, I remember that I had 3 ideas. The first was that on train journeys, you get to see a lot of beautiful scenery. The second idea was that train journeys are longer, so they're more relaxing. The third idea was that you get to meet interesting people and make friends. So once you have these ideas down, you're going to repeat the exercise. That means you're going to set your timer for 1 minute and you're going to speak again on the same topic. But now you can use your notes to guide you. You will notice that this time you are actually able to speak more fluently because you have some good ideas on paper, and you will be able to expand on your ideas and give more information. Once the timer hits 1 minute, you stop, and we move on to stage 3. Just like in stage 2, you're going to go to paper and pen, but this time you're going to add more ideas to your notes based on your second speech. I added some ideas like this. So now, for one final time, you're going to speak again. This is your final speech. So you set your timer for 1 minute, you use your notes and speak. I'm going to give you my final speech based on my notes so you can see the difference. So here we go. My favorite mode of transport is actually the train. I love train travel for 2 or 3 reasons. The first is that the journey is usually longer than when you fly on a plane or even when you travel by car or bus. So as a result, it's very relaxing. Another big advantage is that you get to see a lot of scenery when you ride a train. Now, if you're riding the subway and your train is going through a tunnel the whole time, then obviously you won't see any natural beauty. But if you're lucky enough to ride a train through the countryside, I'll tell you that's an incredible experience. But for me personally, the best part about trains is that you get to meet people and make friends, especially on some of the longer journeys. Even if you don't take each other's phone numbers or become best buddies, you still get to have great conversations and meet some really interesting people. So those are the 3 reasons why I enjoy train travel so much. All right, I know that was a little over a minute, but that's okay. If you are in the flow, you don't have to stop at 1 minute. You can keep going. As your fluency improves, you can challenge yourself by setting your timer for 2, 3, or even 5 minutes. But did you notice how much better my second speech was? I actually improved my fluency on this topic over the 3 stages. Now, I know I said that there are 3 stages to this exercise, but there's a bonus stage if you're really serious about improving your English. That stage is record yourself. Once you have finished speaking for the 3rd time, you can give your speech once again, but this time you speak into your cell phone or a voice recorder. This is fantastic for 2 reasons. Because first, you can then listen back to the recording and you can identify what areas you need to improve, particularly your pronunciation. But also, if you keep your recordings on your phone or save them to your computer, you can come back to them after a few weeks or a few months and listen to them and see how much you have improved since that time. I know that many of us hate listening to our own voices. We feel really shy and embarrassed. But trust me, this is a very powerful way to improve your speaking, recording and listening to yourself. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you can just do JAM, the 3 stages, and that will help you to improve your fluency. And it takes only 10 minutes. I suggest that you make this your daily fluency workout. Do it at least once a day. Practice doing JAM on many different topics, and if you do, I guarantee you, you will become more fluent just practicing by yourself. Alright, if you liked this lesson, give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. Also remember to subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button to get my latest lessons right here on YouTube. Happy learning, and I will see you in another lesson soon.